Herzlich willkommen bei Achtung Reichelt. Die deutsche Migrationspolitik bietet viele Horrorgeschichten und wenig Heldengeschichten, aber manchmal treffen diese beiden Geschichten aufeinander. So war es auch in der Nacht von Samstag auf Sonntag in Dresden. John Rudert, ein amerikanischer Staatsbürger, war dort unterwegs, als er bemerkte, wie eine junge Frau belästigt wurde von zwei Männern. Er schritt ein und wurde im Gesicht mit einem Messer verletzt. Ein wahrer Held, zu Besuch hier in Deutschland, und wir sind sehr geehrt, heute mit ihm zu sprechen. John, herzlich willkommen bei Achtung Reichelt.
Dankeschön. It's good to be here.
Thank you, John. So first of all, how are you? How have you been since it happened?
I've been doing good. The
You look great.
The initial treatment after the stabbing or the slashing it all happened very quickly. I was rushed to the hospital, emergency priority, our equivalent in America of priority one. Immediately brought into the emergency room. I was treated there, given a CAT scan, and then quickly rushed up to the operating room, and they called in the emergency surgery team, and they performed on me there. It was quite a little bit of a painful process, but it has been nothing but, great characters here, and they've been amazing at the hospital. The staff has been absolutely wonderful. It's been taking great care of me.
That's good to hear. So any damage that will last, any damage that will remain, can they say something about that yet?
Yeah, they've made predictions. The injury to the face, the cut to the nose, it severed my nose in two, and part of my lip here, part of my eye actually, it just nicked the eyelid, just a centimeter off, and I would have lost my eye for sure. And also down on my face over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Certainly I'll have a scar, but it was worth it, and I'll wear it with pride.
Well, rightfully so. So tell us what happened that night. So it's Saturday night. You're on the tram in Dresden. What's happening?
So we were on the tram in Dresden. We got on near Albertplatz, and there was this girl there, and the girl was in a group with another one. But the isolated event really happened with one girl in particular. And this guy came over, a darker-skinned gentleman, and started harassing her verbally and put his hands on her physically, threatening her safety. I was near her, closer than both of my friends were at the time, who were also observing this event with me. And it escalated to the point where he, with a fist, struck her and threw her down onto the seats. And that's when I intervened. I pushed the man away, saying, "Stop, stop." But he looked to me like he was currently, definitely on some drugs, and was not hearing what I was saying, was not comprehending any direct order or verbal statement. And he continued with his harassment, got even angrier, threw a strike at me. He landed, but it was not significant. I re-struck him, responding to that level of violence, and then extended my hand, trying to protect the girl and keep distance from him. He tried to, again, attack me by holding onto the bars and trying to kick me. I was at a distance where it didn't affect me, but a man came up unbeknownst to me, and when I was addressing him and trying to de-escalate that situation, I heard a click, click. I looked to the side, to the right, and there was this man there with a very grim expression on his face, to say the least, who reached over and slashed me across the face with a knife. And just like that, that was it. I touched my face and my entire hand was red, and the rest was a very quick exchange of information to the police. They arrived very quickly. They were great. They later arrested a suspect for potentially harassing the first female that was there that I addressed on the physical confrontation. So they underwent a custody working with him, and he is out currently. But as for the other, he's still at large, as popularly known. And here I am in the hospital, recovering from the injuries, but I'm doing all right, and I feel all right. And yeah.
So let me ask you again: was the man who attacked you with the knife, was that the initial attacker, or was it the second one who joined in and then attacked you?
It was a second one that joined in and attacked me. There were three men involved in total. The other man next to the first man that I addressed earlier, the one attacking the female that I was trying to protect, he was with a partner. His partner was not necessarily physically aggressive towards me, but he was definitely participating in the situation. The third man, the one that we mentioned that slashed me, came up, who was not involved in the physical confrontation at all, purely just striking me for the sake of striking me.
Crazy. So was anyone else on the train helping you, or were you the only one who tried to protect that woman?
I was the only one that tried to protect that woman. I can say that with solidarity. My friends who were with me were at a position on the tram where they could not physically intervene the way I could because of my close proximity to them. They were obviously assisting in the diffusing of the tension of the room,
Yes.
of that space, of that event, but they were not able to physically participate in that altercation because of my proximity. I wasn't. I had to in order to defend that woman, and therefore I ended up with a strike. Sorry, there's a helicopter over us right now.
Oh, they're doing important work. So,
Yeah.
so, that is kind of disturbing, I have to say, because when I look at the video from the train, there were lots of people, many people who could have, supported you, who could have come to your help. What do you make of that?
Well, I understand that from the position of Germans that live here that have seen this so frequently, that this is a reality of life. This is a big fear. These things happen. People have certainly lost their lives recently because of these knife attacks. Even some close friends of mine have, or even closer friends that have unfortunately lost their life because of these random knife attacks. I understand that somebody would be really in their own fear about participating in a situation like that, especially if they do not know if an attacker has a weapon. For me, because of my proximity, I believe it was my duty to protect that woman as much as my capacity warrants. And that's what I did. And that attacker wasn't even the one that really struck me with a knife. So this event has a lot of different layers to it. It's very complex, and reasons behind attacking me, this attacker that did slash me with a knife, are really unknown. And I don't try to understand him. It was just a senseless act of violence.
You kind of went viral with a video you recorded shortly after all that happened, and you obviously went against German migration policy. So, just to be clear here, the attackers, you would say, were from that group of people who, fall under the big issue of migration, failed migration policy.
Yes, I'd say so. Specific ethnicities, I couldn't speak with 100% clarity on. There have been some statements made by news agencies and the police as to the ethnicity specifically of them, ranking it around Syrian nationals, I believe, as seen in the New York Post. But as for me, I did not know at the time, neither would knowing that information dictate or change anything that I did.
So you have spent a year in Germany, as you've told me before, as an
Yes,
exchange
sir.
student. You have a nice tattoo of the city of Dresden on your chest, right there,
Goes to
uh,
my heart.
because you love the city.
I love to
Um,
see.
you made those statements. So, and you just mentioned these kind of policies. So, how has Germany changed? I mean, you haven't seen Germany only for a week now as a tourist. You've seen it over here. You obviously have friends here. How has Germany changed?
Initially, when I got to Germany, I spent some time up in Hamburg, learning at a German college there, learning the foundations in German language with the rest of my AFS American Field Service program coming over from America, about 50 students. And having been exposed to German culture, Hamburg was not necessarily the safest place, I'd say, at least the places we were located in. I got a good look into, the realities of violence in the world, the realities of migration problems, and the realities of just intercultural problems in a society. And when I came over to Dresden, I really fell in love with it, more so than Hamburg, more so than Berlin. Dresden was my favorite city in Germany by far. I love the peace. I love the quiet. I love the cleanliness. I love that I could just go down to Old Town, Altstadt, walk around and just look at the beautiful architecture at the night and not even worry about the fact that I was going to be attacked, that anybody I was with would be attacked. And initially, when I arrived, that was a reality. I could do that. And I really enjoyed taking advantage of those natural opportunities being in Germany gave me. I've since then noticed from traveling back here a few times since then, and now including, that this reality of safety in Dresden, from my perspective, has become a little bit more dangerous and a little bit less so than it certainly was before. We see societies deteriorate slowly. There are problems everywhere, but namely in Dresden, I have observed a certain increase in the amount of problems that I've seen and now obviously had to experience and been the victim of since I've first gotten here.
So you mentioned before that other people on the train appeared afraid to you, or that is your explanation, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. After the event, too, nobody really gave me any words of encouragement. The Germans kind of
Yeah.
just stayed there and looked at me like I was this thing. And, I understand their reasonings for it. I understand they don't want to get involved. I understand that, these people have jobs, they have reputations they have to uphold. They have, a life that they don't want to necessarily jeopardize by entering a conflict like this, especially when they don't know what the result is going to be or what really happened. But at the same time, basic courtesy would necessitate, at least in America, I'd have people that would help me instantly. I'd have people stop their cars on the highway to help me if they saw my car was broken down. I'd have people help me up off the ground if they saw that I fell. And here, unfortunately, I didn't get that level of treatment, but I understand at the same time why I didn't.
I'm wondering, what kind of knife was it? Did you get a chance to see it? Was it a large knife, or just a spring knife, or like what kind
So,
of?
from the severity of the cut, I could make an inference to the size. I would definitely say it was a knife that could and was large enough to cut through my nose. Obviously, with the amount of force and applied pressure, the area and angle of the cut is going to be influenced by the angle of entry in that cut. But I could definitely say it was a bigger knife, not a machete, not anything like that. I don't believe, but definitely a knife. The quickness of it, to be honest, was so fast that I could not get a good view on the knife, despite it being right in front of my face and passing very close to my eye.
I've seen video of you on the train, and you look remarkably calm. It's really admirable. What were your thoughts when all that happened? Take us back to those moments.
So initially, when I got cut, took a step back, assessed my injury. In America, as I said before, I just graduated paramedic school. I've had over a year now working in the emergency medical services. Throughout my entire life, I've always been in martial arts. The principles of honor, the principles of keeping people safe that can't defend themselves has always been something that's been influential and fundamental with me. So when it came to assessing my injuries and collecting myself, calming myself down after I knew I was clearly injured, it wasn't that difficult. I had this strange level of clarity I've actually never experienced in my life before this event. But I got injured, and what I knew at the time was, okay, I can see, I can breathe, I can smell, I can move. My legs are fine, my hands are fine. I'm not bleeding from anywhere else. I was concerned if I was bleeding from anywhere else because that knife slash did not feel, didn't sting, didn't burn. It was just felt like a punch, felt like a weak karate chop almost. And so I was very observant to myself, focusing, changing my focus from the environment to myself, reassessing injuries and stuff. But just breath work and understanding that I was going to be okay and I was not going to die from this. And the fact that I wasn't experiencing much pain added to the stability of my demeanor.
Amazing story, John. So, do you know whatever happened to the woman you were protecting?
No, I don't know. After the incident occurred with the knife slash, my focus really became on my injuries and self-assessment. I knew I was at a safer position. I heard yelling and the guy going away, but as far as knowing what ended up of her, I really don't know.
There was a woman seen on that video who was kind of walked out by a group of possibly Syrian, looking people, and they slapped her again. What was that? The woman involved, or was it another woman who was not involved in the initial incident?
I could make an inference that she was that same woman, but at the time I haven't seen the footage. I don't know what she looks like. I remember what the woman I protected looks like: blonde hair, fair skin, but at the same time, it's really up to perspective and availability of information. With my thought process at that time, I wasn't scanning the environment as much as I probably should have been after I sustained the injury, but it was still a healthy focus on myself and coordinating with information with my friend to get the ambulance service there and the police.
So, as almost everything today, your story already, is a story of heated debate about politics. Not only in Germany, also in the U.S., but more in Germany. Probably also because you took that video that you posted. As someone who has known Germany, who felt safe here a while ago, who doesn't feel that safe anymore, who now got injured in a very heroic act, I have to say. I'm absolutely impressed, and I can only say thank you so many people in Germany who will be watching this. But what is your perspective? What needs to change? What needs to happen?
I think largely that Germany has been, and the German citizens have been rather quiet about events like these. They tend to come with a natural political connotation that takes away from the actual problem. The problem to me wasn't anybody's skin color, wasn't anybody's race, wasn't anybody's anything. It was the fact that a woman was being harassed and assaulted. My reaction was proportionate to exactly that, a woman being harassed and assaulted. I would have protected any woman against any race, any color of man. It was not in my regard. I was very focused on the safety of that woman. That was my reason for getting involved in that situation. I understand that, after looking at that, the optics of that, the relative commonality and, patterns of a specific group of individuals attacking a specific other group of individuals has been evident in recent German history when it comes to the immigration crises that I spoke of in the video and as we all know of now. But when it comes down to it, I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And I think that if we're really going to solve an issue like this, we have to come together and as a people, as citizens, as international citizens, and realize that the problem here needs to be addressed. Not the secondary problem, not the tertiary problem, the problem of violence. And that transcends any political party. And everybody, no matter what their side of political party, should look at this and see it for what it was, an act of violence perpetrated on somebody that could not defend herself, with an intervention from somebody that was at a position where they could do so. That's the problem. That's the real root of this. And I hope that everybody can put their political affiliations to the side and come together and really unite to make a change in a positive direction towards the citizens of Germany. And if that needs international aid, then that needs international aid and coordination. But for now, we can only hope and come together and hold that level of understanding with each other.
John, you're a true hero. Thanks for doing this interview. And thank you even more for protecting that woman, for still coming here to Germany, for being on the train, and for doing a hell of a job that night. Thank you very much. You're a hero.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me on today. It's been absolutely wonderful to connect. You guys have treated me so well, and the German people, I can't thank you enough for all the help and support and all the good wishes. I'm responding to all you guys one by one. Don't worry, I'm clicking away in my free time, anytime that I have. And I really appreciate it. It all goes to my heart. I can't thank you.
Last question, John. Anyone came by to thank you there at the hospital?
I've had some close friends and family, and actually a lot of people sent flowers. The police just came and gave me an amazing thank you. I shook the hands of the president of the Dresden City Police, and he gave me some flowers as a commemorative of the event. And it was absolutely wonderful getting to sit down, shake his hand, put a name to a face, and really get that connection there and that exchange. And aside from those friends that have came and visited me, everybody, like random people, no, not so much, but I really appreciate the things that they send me, the words, the kind wishes, all the support online and in person.
Amazing, John. We're all very happy you were there that night. Thank you very much, and get better soon. And please come back to Germany.
I will, certainly.
Like you here.
I love the city. I'll be back.
Thank you.
Thank you.